Okay, good.
At least I hope so.
Me too.
And maybe you heard me talk about this at the round table. And it was the 3 questions of, are you referable? Do you prefer to work with a referral or a lead? And how do you define a successful transaction? Do you remember us talking about those?
Yes, I do.
Okay. This is the message that I want you to deliver very confidently and very clearly to your realtors when you meet with them. And here's why. More often than not, we tend to sell from a very self-centric perspective. We always talk about I and me, what I can do for you, what I'm able to do, what my team is able to do, what I, me, we. That's a very self-centric perspective. The problem is that when you're consulting with somebody, you're not really trying to figure out what their wants, goals, and needs are. Thus, we end up falling right into the same trap that every lender before us falls into when we speak. We don't provide the realtor or our audience any reason to become engaged because they've heard the same song and dance before. And there's so many times that you can hear from somebody that you're honest, you're hardworking, you're dedicated, you got good rates, got good fees, you got good turn times, and close loans on time, blah, 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 blah. Fair? Does that make sense? Oop, I lost you. Mr. Smith, let me know when you're back on, buddy. Are you there, brother?
Hey. Yeah, I'm there now. I don't know. Something happened here. It just kicked me off for some reason. So
no worries.
No
worries at all, buddy. No worries. No worries. The 3 questions, did you hear those?
No, you got cut off like right. I would say like probably 2 minutes ago. So.
Okay, so the 3 questions that I want you to deliver.
Referral or lead. That's it, right? Are you referable? Referral.
Yep.
And successful transaction.
So, yep. And the reason why I want you to be clear on this is because I believe that when you speak to your audience, you should be focused on what's important to them. It's not about what's important to us and what we can deliver. It's more important about what the outcome of the transaction is. You don't have to tell them that you're good at your job. You don't have to tell them that you turn around files on time. You wouldn't be in this position if you weren't good at the basics. Is that fair?
Yes. Agreed.
So when you sit down with a realtor and you sit down with these 2 broker offices, here's the message that I want you to convey to them with 100% sincerity and clarity. And that is, you are, Trevor, you are going to be the best business partner for them as it relates to helping them grow their real estate practice. And when you say that to them, and you followed up with these 3 questions in that sequence, you're going to align yourself with more of an entrepreneur and a business consultant and less as a loan originator and a loan officer. Would that be an ideal situation for you to be in?
Yeah, definitely.
Why would you rather be considered a consultant and a business partner than just a loan officer?
A loan officer are easy to replace.
Bingo. You got it. Spot on, buddy. There's no, to your point earlier, loan officers are essentially tools, right? Everyone believes that a loan officer either at a bank or a credit union or on the internet does the exact same thing, and there's really no difference between the 2. There's really no separation between you, me, and anybody else in this industry, but you and I know that there's a huge difference. And the only reason our agents and our clients don't know that is because we've done, and the market does a horrible job at really educating people about the real effort and work that goes into what we do every day.
Right.
So in order for you to reframe yourself in front of these realtors, you need to come at them with a very clear and concise definition of what your value is. And so what we're going to work on today is really defining your need you have or you're going to use or create this unique selling proposition or unique value proposition. And the value proposition is really simple. You believe that there is not another person better at creating situations where the clients that you choose to work with feel compelled to want to refer you. No, there's nobody better. Brian's system and your language and your confidence and your ability to do your job put you in the best possible position to be a amplifier of relationships. And if you then followed up with this conversation of how do you define a successful transaction? And you would say, or they would say what?
We got paid at the end. We closed on time.
And your response is really simple. I prefer to define a successful transaction as getting a referral before closing.
Right.
Why does a broker want to hear that over something else? Why would that resonate with a broker differently than somebody who just comes to real estate and hopes to close a deal once every couple months?
Well, it's guaranteed business.
Yep.
Well, not necessarily guaranteed, but it's free business.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Okay, so the broker's attracted to that because you're providing him with a chance to grow his business with zero cost.
Yes.
That's a very important message that you have to deliver. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't want to partner up with them to help them with some other marketing expenses, but if that becomes a pillar of their business that they can learn to teach the realtor how to manage and become better at, or you take over that role like I am to you, you become infinitely more valuable than just your last transaction. Fair?
Right. Well, yeah, definitely.
There's the analysis of the first question. So that's very clear on why you ask the broker that question. The second one is, would you prefer to work with a lead or a referral? And you know the answer. Everyone's going to say a referral. And the reality is that most brokers don't have a very strong method. They don't have a very strong culture. They don't have a very strong education mindset. Therefore, when they attract realtors, they'll take any Tom, Dick, and Harry that has a real estate license. That doesn't help, but the broker needs warm bodies in the door because 10 warm bodies closing one deal every couple months is still better than one realtor closing one deal every couple months.
Right.
So they'll take anybody. The problem then becomes is that you have all this space that you need to fill for all these people, or you have all these licenses and you have all this drama around the office when in reality, none of them really understand how to become referable. So the message then is if you prefer to work with a referral and you prefer to define a successful transaction as a referral, then my asset to you is that I understand what it means to be referable. And you would ask the broker the same question. What is it about you, Mr. Broker, that makes you referable? And what I mean by that isn't necessarily to the consumer, but to other realtors. What would make other realtors more attractive to your broker shop than the next one down the street? And this is where this whole thing becomes so powerful, because as a realtor, as a broker, if you're trying to attract new agents, this whole conversation gives you a great distinctive differentiation against any other broker shop down the street, because it gives you an angle in which you can speak to people's real value system that make them realize that you care about their business differently than anybody else.
Okay.
Are you following me on this?
Yeah, definitely.
This is so different. So it applies to you talking to a realtor. It applies to you talking to the broker. But in the same token, this whole conversation can then be turned around and it can be used when a broker tries to recruit a realtor. And then that becomes the message in which the realtor then wants to partner with you, because if the broker believes that that's the system and the realtor believes that that's what the broker's primary role is, and you become that point of contact that helps amplify that whole relationship, then you become irreplaceable.
Got it.
And what we've just created with this little analogy is what my business model was founded on for the last 20 years. Are you on your computer, my friend?
Yes, sir.
Have I showed you my my business logo?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Here is Here is my business logo. Do you see it?
Yeah.
This is my brand. My brand was not closing loans. My brand was building relationships and amplifying them through what I call the triangle of trust. And the triangle of trust simply means that my number one responsibility, Trevor, is to make you happy and to fulfill your wants, goals, and needs, so that at the very least, regardless if we continue to work together or not, you go back to Brian Heckman and say thank you. So if I'm able to do that, let's say you're up at the top left corner of the triangle, Brian's at the top right corner of the triangle, and I'm at the bottom point of the triangle. If I can help you and you go back to Brian and say thank you, what does that do to your relationship with Brian?
Strengthens it.
Strengthens it. Doesn't it make Brian feel good that he helped you?
Yeah.
Doesn't it make you feel good that Brian helped you?
Yeah.
What does that do for my relationship with you?
Strengthens that as well.
And if I'm only going after what's important for you and I fulfill that, there's no question that my belief is that I'm not in it for me, I'm in it for you, correct? It's very clear this is not about me.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to help maintain the relationship that you and Brian have and improve it.
Yes.
And then what's the byproduct between my relationship and Brian's relationship?
More trust built between you two as well.
Yeah. And so what do you think Brian's going to do the next time he has an LO that he needs help with?
Refer him over to you.
And what am I going to do with that loan officer?
You're gonna do the same and build that person up and help them, and in turn they'll go back. Right?
And eventually, you and the other LO become people just like Brian. You go out there and you tell other LOs about me, and then it creates another triangle, and it just creates another triangle, and it creates another triangle, and it creates another triangle. And all I'm doing is amplifying the relationship between you and Brian. That's all I'm ever doing.
Okay.
You want a unique value proposition that really speaks to people's core value. You really want a value proposition that helps differentiate you from every other lender. You want to really help people understand that your talent is far greater than just closing loans. You want to tell people that you're not just a tool. You want to convince people that you matter and that partnering with you is the best decision that a realtor can have. Then the three questions, and then the diagramming of this triangle of trust is probably the greatest 30-minute presentation that you could ever hope to give anybody, because it separates the people that actually want to grow a business the right way versus the people that just have a job.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So do you think the presentation with so tell me a little bit about what you were going to talk to the brokers about. What were you going to speak to them about that would make them want to work with you? Were you going to use because Brian Heckman's program, bringing Brian into that meeting, he's going to knock their socks off. But that would be a great follow-up presentation. Like this conversation is the great intro because it lays the framework of why you do it. People don't buy what you do, brother. People buy why you do it.
Sure. Yeah. So
and that's not a lighthearted statement. I truly mean that. People don't buy what you do, because if what you do is why they buy it, then they would buy it from anybody. That's why they would buy the cheapest and the lowest and the most efficient. And that necessarily isn't the best deal. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Consumers buy why you do it before they buy what you do. People want to work with people they know, like, and trust. There's no question. That's why people still have to get mortgages at a local bank or a credit union, because they still feel comfortable. Not everybody goes online and fills out a loan application and turns in a loan and buys a house without meeting the people that they're going through the process with.
Right.
That's why realtors are still involved. That's why doctors are still there. That's why attorneys are still there. That's why business consultants are still there. People still need that physical interaction. People still need to feel connected to the people that they work with. That will never, ever change. So let me reiterate that to you. The realtors and the brokers and the consumers that you talk to don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So the why conversation that we just had is exactly why the broker would want to then start to listen to you moving forward, setting the stage up this way, and then turning it around and then bringing in what Brian's team, what you guys are actually doing on a tactical basis, gives you a greater strength because now they understand why you do it this way.
Okay. So question for you, when I asked what do you define a successful transaction and prefer a referral or a lead are two easy ones. The are you referable, am I asking them, are you referable?
Yes.
Like how do you phrase that question? Literally that way?
You ask them exactly that question. So you go back to, so just so we're on the same page,
yes.
You have told me that you prefer to define a successful transaction as a referral. You prefer to work with a referral over a lead, which is awesome. So let me ask you, what is it that makes you referable? Now, before you answer that, Mr. Realtor, let me tell you what I've heard from the multiple conversations that I've had with other agents in the market. They all say they're honest. They all say they're hardworking. They outperform everybody else. They're knowledgeable. They return calls. They work 24/7. They always answer their phones. They always return their voicemails. They always respond to emails. They're always quick to respond at anything. They know how to negotiate on the telephone. They understand the marketplace. They understand what home is a good home. These are all the things that I hear. If these are all the things that your competition is saying, what makes you referable?
Okay. I like that, yeah.
And there's not going to be an answer.
Sure.
The only other answer they could come up with is that I'm the cheapest. Then you're like, ugh, I don't know if I want to be with that.
You're right.
I don't want to be the cheapest.
Oh, hold on now.
Yeah, right. If you tell me that that's what your goal is to be the cheapest, hey, listen, that's your prerogative. I'm going to sail my ship in a different direction.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I definitely definitely agree with you there.
Does that make sense?
No, totally. Yeah. As I'm looking at it on the piece of paper, it just seemed like kind of a blunt question, but when you frame it with the other questions, it's not as it's
right.
Definitely
and so the idea, that question, when you go, what makes you referable? Your response is, well, here's what makes my practice, my mortgage process referable. I believe in this thing called the triangle of trust. And you draw it out on a piece of paper. You put yourself at the bottom, you put them at the top left, and you go, whoever you refer to me. If it's a realtor or a client, here's my goal. Here's what my process is. Here's why I'm referable. Here's why my clients refer me. They refer me because of why it matters, because I amplify relationships and I care about people and I don't make it about me. I make it about you and your relationships. And if I can do that for you and help you grow your business because we work well as a team, then if you don't have that kind of lending arrangement, you might not be working with the best mousetrap out there. And I'm not saying I'm the only one. We know that. I'm not the only one. But if you're not working with a lender that operates this way, you might be missing out on, and it's statistically proven, about 60% of your opportunities are missed if you don't operate from a relationship-based mindset. You just don't.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the whole point of this conversation is really simple. You have a great opportunity to meet with these realtors. You have a very limited amount of time to impress them, to make them recognize that you are different than everybody else. I have yet to find a conversation that impacts agents more than the way that this does. Then this leads you to any other marketing, any other program, any other testimony, anything else that you want to offer up. Brian Heckman is the king of it. You have a limitless amount of opportunities to continue to impress them. But until you've set the stage for them to listen to you, they'll only ever hear the words that are coming out of your mouth and never really believe much of what you have to say. And you will always be judged based on your last transaction.
Yeah. That's really good.
So the whole idea with this is when you speak, I want you to be remembered. The words that come out of your mouth are the only thing that matter. And there's no question that you're capable. There's no question that you have the talent. There's no question that you're a great LO. The question is, how do you get your audience to see that? And
Yes.
these three questions, and then ending it with the definition of what your business means as a referable practice. The triangle of trust is an ideal description because it appeals to your auditory, visual senses, and it gives the audience a chance to truly understand. And I promise you this, I without question, there is not a person that I've met with over 20 years that doesn't go, wow, that's exactly the way that I want my business to look. Not enough, and I'm not going to say not enough. Virtually no loan officer that I talk to has ever worked on their skills. No realtor, no lender that I know of ever works on their skills. They work on paying for more marketing, but they don't really focus on the skill set of actually communicating to their clients. This is an emotional, intelligent conversation that you get to have with your audience that helps put you on a pedestal well beyond just being a loan officer, well beyond just doing mortgages. You're about answering the eternal question of, where does my next transaction come from? Well, if I want my next transaction to be free and have the best chance of closing, I'd want it to come from a referral. Well, if I'm going to be referring a lender out, I might as well refer one that thinks and acts the same way that I do. Why wouldn't you?
Yes. Agreed.
That's it, brother. That's my 2 cents.
All right, I like it.
So what are you thinking right now? What's your opinion?
I think that's pretty awesome. I find that you're scratching my itch right now, because that was really, I have no problem talking with people. I have no problem, asking questions. And my problem is, like, I get people to say, yeah, that's great. They want to work with me, but then that doesn't follow up with a whole bunch of leads afterwards. Like, I may get a drip or a drab, and it's because I was not saying this before, and I'm obviously not, people like me, but I'm not doing enough to differentiate myself from whoever they're currently working with.
Do you hear the call to action in this?
Yeah, 100%.
The call to action is, I would love to help you amplify your next relationship. And that means that if you refer me to the next person that you're working with, there's a high likelihood that I will be able to convert them into another transaction.
Right.
But in order for me to help you grow your business, you've got to give me a shot. And when you do that, you're not speaking to what benefits you. My message is, I'm speaking to what benefits them. Put me in the mix, and this is how I can help you. I'm not interested in closing loans as much as I'm interested in amplifying the relationship between you and that client. And if I can do that successfully, then not only will that client like to work with you and appreciate you and develop a stronger relationship with you, they're more likely to refer us to somebody they care about. And my model is if my client refers me, I'm referring that back to the original source, which is you. If you don't have a lender that operates that way, then you're missing the boat. Now, let me be clear on something. This is the way that I sailed my ship. This is not the only way to navigate the ocean, not even close. This just happens to be the way that I decided to raise my sail and navigate. And this was the only way that I choose to navigate. And this was the best way for me because it provided me so much validation. I didn't have to deal with realtors that were assholes. I didn't have to deal with clients that were idiots. I dealt with people that understood from the very beginning that this was my business model, and if you didn't like it, I'm okay with it. Go about your business your way. Here's how I'm going to do mine. And the beauty of it was that as my clients and my audience got to know me, they continued to refer me. I've been out of the origination business for almost 3 years, and I got a referral this week. I'm still getting business from my database, and I'm not even mailing it to them. I'm not mailing anything to my database, and I actually have somebody else at another company who, while he was working here, I gave my database to, and he took my database and is marketing it he's marketing to them, and I'm still getting referrals. And it speaks to the point that people don't remember what you say, Trevor. They remember what?
What you
how
do.
you made them feel.
Yeah, how you feel.
The feeling comes from why you do it, not what you do. So next week, my conversation with you is going to be on the five-point opener that you have with every client. Because now that you've set the stage with the realtor, now I've got to teach you how to create and orchestrate referable moments through the process to be actually able to deliver on what you're making commitments to. So next week, it's the 5 bullet point opener of building rapport, permission to reject, the triangle of trust conversation in the client's perspective, the whole setting the stage of expectations, and the agreement to work together. And that'll be the 5 bullet point opener that you will use every time you speak to a client before you talk to them about one single pay stub, W-2, bank statement, or tax return.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Can you do me a favor?
You got it.
Can you go back to Brian and say thank you? If you really appreciate what I'm doing, it would mean the world to me that you go to him and say thank you.
Oh, 100% I will.
Yeah. Because again, at the end of the day, I need him to understand how important you are to me, and how important what I'm trying to do for you will help him. And as long as he knows that I'm doing a good job for you, then he can trust that he can continue to, refer me to his LOs as he recruits them.
Okay.
Would you say that on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least likely and 10 being the most likely, how likely would it be that you would go back to him and say thank you?
Oh, 10. 10 being the most likely? Sorry.
Yes, 10 being the most likely.
Yeah. 10, I would definitely, yes, I'm definitely going to tell him thank you.
Do you see how easy it is to get somebody to go back to them and say thank you?
Yeah.
You are the client. I am the loan officer. I could easily get you to go ahead and tell a friend or a family member about me just by asking you to help me out, couldn't I? And you would gladly do it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm not doing anything revolutionary. I'm just talking to you about things that I understand. And if I'm telling you about what your fears, goals, wants, and needs are and helping you get through them and achieve them, I've earned the right to ask, haven't I?
Yes.
So if you're not asking your clients the same way that I just asked you to go back to Brian, if you're not asking your clients to go back to the referral source that they came from, and then following it up with, can I also ask you for the commitment that you will refer me to somebody you care about during the process as long as I've earned the right to? And you would respond with absolutely. So tell me why we don't ask. It's not hard. You're not resisting. It's not a sales pitch. I'm not manipulating you.
Right.
I'm genuinely asking you for help, and you genuinely responded with absolutely. So if you're not asking, it has nothing to do with your audience. It has everything to do with your fear and limitation of what you believe is possible. It's that simple.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm definitely not asking in that manner. I'll tell you that for referrals.
Well, I know you're not. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this call.
Definitely not. Yeah, there's no question about that.
So you have to ask yourself, why am I not asking? And a large part of it has to do with our own limitations. But the other part of it is that we also believe that we aren't any better than the next loan officer. In your heart of hearts, you honestly could not stand up and give a definition of what makes you different than 5 other LOs in your marketplace. There's why you don't believe you have the right to ask. There's why you don't believe you're any better. There's why this message that I'm giving you and why our calls are going to be so relevant to you is that at some point you will have all the knowledge that I can give you. You're going to have to apply it. And I will know in a very short period of time if you're applying it, because if you're not consistently delivering that message to your clients and your realtors and your referral partners, then it's a mindset issue that you have to struggle through to get over. So I've got an LO, his name is Dave Thomas. I love this kid. This kid he's been in the business for 2 years. He's ADHD at the highest level. He is a talker. He doesn't know when to shut up. He's like a little chihuahua. I mean, literally, he's like a chihuahua. He's yippee, yippee, I mean, just going a mile a minute. And I've been working with him for about 7 months. And everything I ask him to do, he does. and he does it without question, and he does it with 100%, effort. His boss at his branch wasn't sure if he was going to keep him or not. And I asked him, please just give me 3 more months. He sends me updates every now and again, and he sends me this update over the weekend. And this is a guy that's generating 15 to 20 referrals a month from 4 referrals a month when I started coaching him. And this is the stuff that he sends me. He goes, hey, David, the lender I've been working with in the past has been ignoring my clients. Therefore, I'll no longer be referring her. If you could reach out to a client for me, her name is Colleen Frazier, hit the phone number, blah. I hear that you are the best, and I'd like to start sending all of my people your way. That's what he sent me on yesterday. He got that over the weekend. He said, Monday, I got it was another great day of referrals, 2 referrals, 1 pre-approval, and another 2 referrals, 1 pre-approval, 1 accepted offer. Yesterday, he sends me a text. He goes, on a roll, baby, 2 more referrals today and another pre-approval. And all he's doing is consistently meeting with new agents and constantly using the presentation that I've given him. He's constantly amplifying relationships and putting himself in the position going, listen, I'm not your only lender out there. I get it. But there's not a better lender to work with because I'm the only one that will help you grow your business for free. If you want to work with somebody else who'll just close the deal, fine. But they're not going to make you look as good. They're not going to talk to your clients as well. They're not going to get the thank yous that I'm going to give you. And you sure the hell aren't going to get referrals from them. So you choose who you're going to send your business to. By all means. I know that I'm the best person to partner with if you want more business. That's it. That's my value proposition to you. If you don't want it, I'm okay with it. I'll move on to the next realtor that does. And what he's starting to see is that there are more realtors that need it, and there are other realtors that know other realtors that need it, and they're referring David to other realtors.
Nice.
It's not difficult. And I described David that way not because I wanted to put him in a lower, position. David just doesn't have, he's just not that savvy 10 to 15-year vet that understands how to talk to people. He's not that person. Right. He just now understands the message, and he speaks to the message, and he believes the message, and he believes his value proposition, and he doesn't waver from it. And he believes that he doesn't have to get every deal. But he also believes that the deals that he does get, he's the perfect fit for them. And he's not fighting on rate as much. He's not dealing with the realtors that send him all the Zillow leads and the Facebook leads. He doesn't go after those anymore. He's told them, no, I'm not working with you. And it's given him more room to work with agents that are more qualified. He's getting referrals, not leads. He believed in the 3 questions that I asked him, which is the same 3 questions that I asked you. You know the answers to it. So define your value proposition as not settling for anything less. You don't want to work with a lead. I'm not working with a realtor that's going to refer me leads. I want a realtor that's going to refer me referrals. That means that the realtor has to be referable. And if you don't know how to be referable, then you're going to have a difficult time sending me referrals. You're going to be sending me leads, which is fine. But if you're interested in becoming a better realtor, you and I should spend more time together. That's my mic drop.
Yeah, that's all good stuff. Oh, that's good stuff.
There you go, brother. That's my 2 cents.
That was really good.
Any questions for me?
No, you pretty much